Welcome to Biodiesel Magazine's top stories for early August. I'm your host, Jacob Noderman. Before I get started, I'd like to thank this edition's sponsor, Christensen's Biofuels Financial Conference. The event, scheduled for September 27th and 28th in Minneapolis, aims to help those in the ethanol and biodiesel industries make the best use of capital and resources. The conference is produced by Christensen PLLP and organized by BBI International. Visit biofuelsfinancialconference.com for more information. Minnesota, the first state to enact the biodiesel mandate in 2005, is making history once again as state officials have just ruled that the biodiesel requirement will increase from 10 to 20% next May, as planned. The state's biodiesel task force met in June to discuss whether 4 statutory conditions have been met to proceed with the increase. Despite claims of inadequate blending infrastructure by terminal operator Magellan, state commissioners investigated and found otherwise. Once implemented in May, the B20 mandate will be in effect during the state's summer months, or April through September. From October through March, the mandate will revert back to B5, as is current practice with B10. Minnesota is home to 3 operating biodiesel plants: Minnesota Soybean Processors in Brewster, Renewable Energy Group in Albert Lea, and Evercat Fuels in Isanti. European Union member states are expected to vote soon on the European Commission's proposal to lower anti-dumping duties against biodiesel imports from Argentina and Indonesia enacted in 2013 to conform to a 2016 World Trade Organization appellate decision. The EBB claims the much lower proposed duties will be unable to counter the distortive impact of dumping, adding that the decision, if approved, would effectively halt biodiesel production in Europe. The EBB says should the Commission prevail, the EU biodiesel industry will take the matter to the European Court. Renewable Energy Group celebrated completion of upgrades at its biodiesel plant in Ebden, Germany in July with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. REG invested 2.5 million euros for the installation of a new biodiesel distillation column and a thermal oil heater. The company acquired full ownership of the plant in January. Back in Washington, D.C., 2 important events for biofuel stakeholders took place in late July and early August. A U.S. appeals court ruled in favor of renewable fuel advocates against the U.S. EPA and its use of a waiver to reduce renewable volume obligations in a previous renewable fuel standard rule. The court found EPA was wrong to interpret the phrase inadequate domestic supply to mean inadequate domestic supply and demand. Biofuel and biodiesel advocates marked this decision as a victory. Days after the ruling, EPA held a hearing to garner feedback on the recent RFS proposal. Biodiesel supporters called on the agency to raise volume requirements, adding the recent court decision to their already strong case. In California, the Air Resources Board announced it has certified a biodiesel additive branded Vesta 1000 that will make B20 blends compliant with the state's alternative diesel fuel regulation come January 1st. The additive reduces NOx by nearly 2% compared to carb diesel and particulate matter by 18%. California Fueling will produce the formula, and Pacific Fuel Resource will deliver it to market. The National Biodiesel Board led the initial research and development into the additive. Pacific Fuel Resources President Paul Nazaro said the additive could help the state increase biodiesel use by up to 600 million gallons. To view these stories in their entirety or for more news, features, or data details from the most respected and viewed biodiesel site in the world, visit biodieselmagazine.com. See you next time.